I come from a traditional family that was playing music. That was the fastest way that I had found to hit the road as a busker. And then I discovered the pleasure of entertaining. I've always been doing business at school. I was the wheeler dealer. I was always the trader. I was selling baseball cards, whatever things I could commerce with. So I come from this type of entrepreneur that was always doing deals all my life since a kid. So I didn't go to the business school. I went to the school of life.
Marhaba, I'm Janan Farhat.
And I'm Derek Zeno from the Qasimi Foundation.
Welcome to C-Suite Talks, a podcast about what it really means to lead.
We're talking to the people behind the titles to hear their stories, lessons, and a few surprises along the way.
Because leadership is more than just the corner office. It's personal. Our extra special guest for today is Quebec native Guy Laliberté, the co-founder of Cirque du Soleil and the founder and CEO of Group Lune Rouge. Good morning, Guy.
Good morning.
Your story is legend. You took a troupe of street performers in 1984 and grew it into Cirque du Soleil, a company that reinvented live entertainment and went on to be valued at more than $1 billion USD. After stepping away from Cirque, you launched Lune Rouge in 2015, an innovation studio and investment group that backs tech, art, entertainment, and real estate ventures with the same sense of wonder that fueled your circus days. From street performer to entrepreneur to space tourist, you've built a life exploring the edge of what is possible. So, a quick one before we get going. Tell me, what brings you to Ras El Khaimah?
Well, I am presently in a moment of my life that I've been missing, being on the field of entertainment, building things. You probably know that I sold Cirque du Soleil in 2015. I did explore the world of family office, but to be honest, I guess I figured out after 8 years, that I was more an entrepreneur, creator than a financial manager. So how could I say? I start to be feeling bored of not being in the action. So since the past 3 years, we've been architecturing a vision of what we believe will be the future of entertainment, real estate, hospitality. And obviously, this region of the world is booming. And we believe that there's amazing opportunity for us to engage in relationship with the region. And this is what we are here for.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you could join us from this part of the world. So our 15-minute chat begins now. So can you tell me, what does your morning routine look like?
I have no routine. The story of my life is exactly not having a routine because the dream was not to do business. The dream was not to do money. The dream was not to be serious in the sense of having a routine. The dream was to travel, discover the world. Very young in my life, I was fascinated by what was not existing in my country or my city, which is people that are dressing differently, animals that were not living in my country. And I had nurtured the dream of traveling since I'm a kid. So this is what had brought me to be able to live my dream was music. I come from a traditional family that was playing music. That was the fastest way that I had found to hit the road as a busker. And then I discovered the pleasure of entertaining. I've always been doing business at school. I was the wheeler dealer. I was always the trader. I was selling baseball cards, whatever things I could commerce with. So I come from this type of entrepreneur that was always doing deals all my life since a kid. So I didn't go to the business school. I went to the school of life, achieving my dream. So the evolution was quite simple. From executing the dream, traveling, met a lot of people, discovered this beautiful planet, and I went from street artist to being part of a theater troupe on stilts, organizing festival, then the opportunity of having a contract during the celebration of the 450th anniversary of Canada, and then we hit the road. bumpy at the beginning, but rapidly when we start to go bigger, meaning outside of country, we brought our shows in Los Angeles and then never looked back after. It was a series of success and growth and seizing opportunity. So how could I say, what is my routine? I cannot have a routine because I live my personality. I live the two sides of my brain. One is the creative one, the other one is the business one. And with variants of it, the traveler one, the adventurous one. So whatever moment I am in my life, my morning is always different.
Well said. I think that's definitely well represented by just the diversity of your work experience and in your life, really. I wanted to ask you, because you said you come from a traditional family, was there a particular moment that changed your career trajectory, you would say?
Well, I said there's three things as a kid, a lot in my discovering of life, but what had really provoked this strong dream came from three events. The first TV program I saw at home, remember my father bringing a TV program, and the first one was a National Geographic, Color Things, where I saw different people of different culture, different color skin, animals and dress or color of water was different, so it got my attention. The second thing is Expo 67 in Montreal. It was an international expo. I was 8 years old. My mom brought in the summer or the season passport every day we were going there, and I was fascinated by listening people talking language that I didn't know, tasting food that was not existing on our menu in my country, and discovering this culture toward either cultural, like a folklore, science, or whatever. And I was really fascinated. But I would say the one event that really sparked the dream and this belief that what I was feeling inside me was the night that Neil Armstrong walked on the moon. I remember we were in a summer camp and we look at that. And for me, where my friends was about, wow, I want to be an astronaut. For me, I was looking at this moment. I said, wait a minute. The Little Prince story could be lived for real. And this is really where we're engaged in that. So obviously it was not easy because it brought me in this disrupting, rebellious things, because obviously parents or the society at that moment were not endorsing this type of dream. You know, I come from a moment where the reference for success was to be a doctor, an engineer, somebody that was seek your things. You know, and I was very rebellion toward what the reference of being educated or secure your life for the future was in reference. For me, it was about I will learn from the school of life. And I really endorse this course, that approach to educate myself.
So could you tell me, maybe, what is the most underrated skill that's helped you navigate the school of life in your career?
Having learned from my mistakes, I guess, is one of them. Having lived the life of being a street performer, meaning that you're in the street. You need to be alert. You need to develop your sensitivity, your intuition. The time reaction is very, very important at that moment in time. You know, it's like your life couldn't depend. So I guess this, I would say, this intuition development, this reading the room type of things came from the street things. Then I would say to see the joy of people. Reacting to art, to creation, to music, and realizing that this job of being a happiness merchant made me feel that I was having the best job in the world, and obviously meeting people that have amazing story, you know, elders or people my age that had experience and passion, that dedicate their life and passion, and just listening to that. Those story was a way of educating myself. And I would say keeping my eyes open to the opportunity and not compromising. Especially values. I met amazing, beautiful people that they told me their story, and it shaped my values very young in my age. And I guess this was probably the most important things. It's like by the age of 20, I had my value, and I'd stick on them all my life because I learned from beautiful people that have a great value.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing that. And also, I think emphasizing like just what it takes to be a performer with trusting your intuition, trusting your gut, and also appreciating other people's passion for life. I think that's very beautiful. So now that we've gotten to know you a little better, I wanted to make this conversation a little bit more spontaneous. So we actually have a wheel of questions, and we'd love it if you could spin it. All right. Do you take breaks, and what do you do for rest?
Well, define breaks, because there's the break of the mind and the break of the body. And the break of the body, I like to be lazy. The break of the mind, unfortunately, I have so many hamsters in my head that rolls, and they rarely take a break. So, and actually fit perfectly. I could be very secluded, not doing anything, but I will talk to myself. I will reflect. I love to when I face a challenge to address the challenge like a chess game and try to project as much move. Why? Because I learned one thing in business is if you project what are the potential element or things that could arrive, and you try to live and project the emotion you will live with such event, then you're reduced by a big factor, the factor of surprise. And in business, being surprised at the last moment, this is, I think, a moment where you could be destabilized. People say you're cold, and I say I already had lived my emotion of this situation. So I'm training myself always to be as accurate and sharp as possible, and not be destabilized in business, because there's a lot of intelligent business people out there. So they have their tricks, and the art of negotiation is not always done. I would say in an honest way. So I like to be ready and see things coming.
So I like to reflect and approach challenge like a game of chess. I like that. I like that a lot. We have one last question from our wheel, if you wouldn't mind. Would you like me to spin it?
Well, spin it.
Awesome. Okay. So tell me about a time you failed, and how did you recover? What did you learn?
Fail? Oh my God, so many times. I think that in business or personally, I'll take an example of business. Sure. 1985, we were in our second years without a contract, so we were by ourselves, trying to grow Cirque du Soleil. To grow, we had to go out of our province. First year we did our tour in the province Quebec. The second year we said, okay, we have to go in Ontario. That was Toronto, the biggest city there, but we had to pick another city. And we had help from the Bureau of Quebec delegation, and in Toronto said, oh, you have to go to Niagara Falls. Everybody knows about Niagara Falls. And of course, this is like famous. I said, there's X number of millions of people who passed during that period of time. Great, there's good marketing. So we went there, established ourselves, and that way, we didn't have a lot of money that time, so a way for us to be successful was always depending on the opening night. So we'd invite the society there, and then we were counting on our success. We were very confident in the quality of our show and the surprise. We were good, and we were touching people. We just had to bring them in the big top, so like that they would talk. So we were betting or we didn't have money to buy too much publicity. So we rely a lot on that first night, and then if people like it, they will do a word by mouth, and then the people will be there. So Great success in Niagara Falls first night, like any other city. But the day after, tickets no sell, very few sell. And we started to panic. I said, what about those millions of people who said, well, yes. And somebody said to him, well, yes, but you know what? They come, the average of stay is 30 minutes when they go see the falls, or when they stay here is because they're just making the honeymoon and the honeymoon suite, and they're here with doing with their lover having a nice dinner and things, and not thinking about going to see a circus show. So it almost killed us. So what do you learn of a mistake like that is like it's your marketing studies to try to go deeper in the understanding of the specificity of a culture or the behavior of people.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. I think it's very important to study every situation before you jump in. All right, so we're almost at the end of our time together. But before we wrap up, Guy, I want to bring it back to where we're sitting right now, here in Ras Al Khaimah in the UAE. What do you think the world can learn from places like Ras Al Khaimah, places that are still writing their own story?
You know, for me, it's a little too soon to be able to talk on behalf of this region because I'm just starting to discover it. So, by respect, I could only answer and say everywhere I've been in the world, always have its cultural specificity, its personality, and so far what I've seen here is like very interesting. We arrive in a moment where there's a big change in this region in terms of how they prepare themselves for the future. They had brought in, a super high brand name of a casino that had decided to establish itself here. They're building islands, which they bring in the biggest brand in hospitality in the world. I would say that if I wish something for the region, is what this region is about. And I would say to be able to see that part of the offer should be, I would say, reflect on, because, like I said, all my traveling always told me that there's always a beautiful story to tell about who you are, as a culture, as a region, as a society, and I think there's beauty here, and I'm discovering it day by day, and we'll see what's happening with that in the future, right?
Yeah, I guess that's where we'll leave it for today. Guy, you've shown that leadership isn't about a title. It's momentum, it's curiosity, and also it's about the nerve to keep the show moving when the spotlight shifts. So thank you so much for your time and for being a wonderful inaugural guest for our podcast. We're so thrilled that we were able to get you here today. And you've been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for coming to Ras Al Khaimah.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on C-Suite Talks, where we bring global and local insights from the heart of Ras Al Khaimah to the world.
This podcast is produced by the Sheikh Saoud bin Saqr Al Qasimi Foundation for Policy Research and takes inspiration from the Australian Financial Review's 15 Minutes with the Boss.
Be sure to follow, share, and tune in next time for another 15-minute conversation about what it really takes to lead.